going live, going live.
I can never make my neck bones.
Oh, we're live. All right, that's not important. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to We Sibz, West Coast, East Coast siblings, where we break down your favorite movies and TV shows. Tonight, we finally got a better episode of The Flash. It's finally starting to pick up. Oh, you're so funny, aren't you? I'm Chris, that's Sid. And before we dive into it, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell. So we had some major things going on in this episode with Caitlin and Killer Frost obviously mending their relationship, as well as character Psych, who was
basically
super short.
Scarecrow.
I couldn't take him seriously. Exactly. They call him Psych. So let's break all that down. And then we got the Thinker's Chair coming back into the situation, being used in a major way to save the day. Not too happy that the Flash didn't save the day again, necessarily, but let's dive into it. What did you think of the episode?
I like the episode. I think it's a breath of fresh air. I told you, as I said last week, the Flash just had to go through some bumps to get itself back together post-COVID. And I really am hopeful for the rest of this season, especially after this episode. We had some solid storylines, we had decent character development, and we didn't have an atrocious bad guy. He wasn't original, but he wasn't terrible.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, be sure to write your comments and your questions, suggestions down in the comments below, and we'll respond to them live here on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought the episode is better as a whole. We got better stakes. I think this would have been a solid side kind of episode in a previous season. But it's just unfortunate that this season it's like one of the main episodes, like a good episode as far as storytelling goes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Caitlin and Killer Frost. Killer Frost ends up being a big part of the cliffhanger at the end of the episode.
Yeah, but for right now, at the beginning of the episode, we know that the two characters are split.
We know
The girls are split. We're not sure why. And Cisco is working on a way to get them back together. And through that, Frost goes through the kind of development of realizing I like being my own person. And I'm not okay with going back to being inside of Caitlin. And Caitlin acknowledges that she doesn't know how to be without Frost. And so she's not ready to let her go yet. So I thought that was nice character development. I thought it was a sweet little...
Yeah, I think what they're doing, they're reconciling and they're moving forward a part of the story, which is that, honestly, people have liked Killer Frost. Killer Frost has been a fan favorite for a while now, and they've kind of put Caitlin on the back burner. But I do think that they are bringing this up just to reconcile her character once and for all. They're going to have maybe Caitlin be separated from Killer Frost and then decide to go off on some other adventure and say, no, Killer, you're a more valuable part to this team.
I don't know, though, because Caitlin is the brain. She's the doctor.
She's been gone
the biologist,
for so
I
long.
believe.
But they've got Cisco.
And she and Cisco are besties.
Let us know in the comments down below if you would rather, if one of them had to go, which would you rather, Killer Frost or Caitlin Snow?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, it was nice to have the whole team back together, the original trio. With Vibe and Killer and Flash taking on Psych.
He's actually not Vibe anymore. He's Meta Vibe, I believe, or Mecha Vibe, which is so stupid. And I was like, Cisco, why did you give up your powers just to pop on a pair of shades and be Vibe again?
It's so stupid. You know, he got rid of his powers for a reason. Obviously, when you have powers, you always have the choice to just, I don't know, not use them. But to take them away from yourself and then have to create some kind of mechanism in order to use those kind of powers again, it just seemed a little redundant. But overall, I still thought the episode was better than we've gotten a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this episode really touched on some big themes in The Flash, especially for Barry, which is fear. Of course, Barry's biggest fear is being left alone.
Yeah.
And so in this episode, we see his biggest fears coming to life. Everyone's dead, including the Speed Force, who reappears in this episode as his mother, Nora. And in the sequence where he acknowledges his biggest fear, even the Speed Force has abandoned him. And so I thought that was really nice to see kind of that side of Barry. Yeah. And it's always great to see the Speed Force. I mean, it's just so cool.
Yeah, she's back. And I think that anytime the Speed Force takes on human form, I kind of got TARDIS vibes when the TARDIS from Doctor Who becomes human. For our old Doctor Who fans, definitely. So anytime a force of nature becomes humanoid, it's always cool to see. And also, it had been a long time since we had seen Barry's mother at all in any way, shape, or form on the show. So it was nice to see that. But overall, I think the episode did a good job of raising the stakes and having real stakes, real action, again, as it's been struggling the past couple of episodes. But it seems to be picking up now. And let's talk about that cliffhanger that we got with Killer Frost. There's an agent who's at the the
yes. So Agent Kramer, she's really creepy. She gives us weird vibes. We hear that she's come from Gotham, so I'm just gonna assume that maybe she was on Batgirl before, but we haven't watched that show, so we don't really know. But she comes and she is working for the governor's office, the state logistics division, or at least that's her cover.
Detailed notes there.
I like to try. Anyway, so that's where she's coming from. That's her cover. She's going to be working under Joe. And at first, she's just weird. Iris doesn't like her. She doesn't trust her. Her story doesn't add up. Sure. Later on, we find out that she's there to find Killer Frost and arrest her.
Yeah. So Killer Frost is going down.
Homegirl getting locked up.
And this is really interesting because we're talking about the two characters being split right now. And one of them could end up staying on the show. One might end up leaving. So with this agent going after Killer Frost, we might end up with Caitlin Snow once again for probably the rest of the season if that goes south. But I love Killer Frost, and I hope they don't get rid of her.
Too. I honestly like them both. I like Danielle Panabaker. She's cool.
Yeah, she's. I mean, Sky High. Anyone? That was when I first was like, okay, she's cool.
Disney Channel original movie, baby.
No, okay, all right. You're scaring people.
Shut up.
All right. So anyway, but overall, I thought it was a good episode. But be sure to stay tuned, guys, because we also have Supergirl coming on tonight, and Superman and Lois is on a break until May 18th. Yeah. But we're covering all the CW Arrowverse shows. So be sure to stay tuned. Any other notes we have from the Flash? There were some good things. Obviously, the throwback to the Thinker chair.
Yeah,
that was great.
Cecile's powers are developing.
They are developing.
We saw a hint of that when she had that interaction with Vertigo a couple of episodes ago, maybe in last season.
Yeah.
Where Vertigo was like, "You're more powerful than you think," and she was like, "What? Me? No, I don't think so." And then, sure enough, in this episode, with the help of the Thinker's chair, Homegirl saved the day,
aka Cerebro. But yeah, so we did get to see her green eyes. Maybe that's what happens when she gets over level 5,000 or whatever. So she has to get to those power levels in order to make her eyes green. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing as well.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I like Cecile.
She has her moments. Yeah, but let's keep an eye on her definitely as she's developing her powers. Obviously, the Killer Frost situation vibe is back, and looking forward as we wrap to next week's episode. They are moving to the 90s.
Yes, and sorry, just before we get on to speculation about next week's episode, at the end of this episode, the Speed Force says that she thinks our two big bads, at least in the last couple of episodes,
our two big
are like
violence
her.
Is not the answer.
Shut up. They're like her, which probably means that there's some types of forces of nature like she is. That's scary as heck.
Yeah, that was huge. So we have the Speed Force. There's could be like the reverse Speed Force. Obviously, we'll do a little bit more Googling and Googling and find out. Yeah.
We do know, though, that they have casted Bart Allen, and he will show up in this series as Barry's son. So that will be interesting to figure out how that fits into everything. Will that be a future shot thing?
Nice. I like Bart. I think he could do some cool stuff as the Flash.
Bart. I like Wally better.
But you know, he's had his run. No pun intended.
Oh, not in the TV show, in the comic books.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen Bart in the comics. I mean, in the show yet.
Yeah.
Right, so you don't really know if you like him.
Oh, I think he might be cool. I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to just give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, he'll be great. Let's see, what's the actor's name?
He's awful already. No,
Jordan Fisher, the guy from To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Wow, you're really on it with the notes tonight. No, I'm impressed.
Sometimes I do my job.
Anyway, guys, so looking forward into next week's episode, we have them going to the 90s. There's some crazy stuff going on. It focuses on Cisco and Chester P. Runk.
Is it Chester?
Yeah, it's Chester P. Runk. And
did you call him accidentally last week?
You called him Curtis because you think all black people look the same.
My bad, Chester.
So anyway, we'll be looking forward to that episode. It seems like a feel-good episode, but you got to worry about seeing a couple like kind of fluff pieces back to back. Even though this episode tonight was very good, the next episode also looks to not have any serious stakes as far as the storyline.
I don't know. I think it's going to be one of those episodes where it's like fluffy on the top, but we're getting a lot of subtext about what's going to happen in the future. So
Speaking of subs, be sure to give us one. We love subs, and like the video if you like the video. As always, subscribe and click the bell. Again, Supergirl is on tonight as we speak, so we'll be doing an episode for that. And stick around because we got Godzilla coming out tonight at 3 a.m. So Godzilla.
That's just a little reference to my video
She
for
keeps
Debris
saying-
that I did earlier. Check that out too. Debris
Ooh,
episode 5.
Don't yell at the people. You're scaring people.
Sorry.
Sitting here out of control
Sorry,
tonight.
guys. Sorry.
I apologize for her. PSA. Anyway, F in the chat for your ears. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you tonight for Supergirl and then early in the morning for Godzilla versus not Donkey Kong, but King Kong.
But who knows? Donkey Kong could show up.
Peace. How do I stop this thing? Okay, here we go.